It's the year 2010. You walk into your room, open your old laptop, and someone online tells you about a strange new digital coin called Bitcoin. They say, "It's the future of money." You laugh. Why would anyone pay real money for something that doesn't even exist physically? But then, you decide to take a crazy risk. Not $10,000, not $1,000, just $100. You buy Bitcoin, close your laptop, forget about it, and continue living your normal life. Years later, you suddenly remember that old wallet. Your hands start shaking, you enter the password, the screen loads, and what you see changes your life forever. But here's the real question. Would you have actually kept your Bitcoin all those years? Because buying Bitcoin wasn't the hardest part. Staying invested was. Let's go back to where it all began. Back in 2010, Bitcoin wasn't famous. There were no YouTube creators telling people to invest, no major billionaires posting about it on social media, no major companies buying it. Bitcoin was just a tiny experiment created by an unknown person using the name Satoshi Nakamoto. Nobody knew who Satoshi really was. Some people believed Bitcoin could change the financial world forever. Most people believed it would disappear within a few months. Imagine telling your family, "I just bought internet money." They would probably laugh. Your friends would call it a scam. Even financial experts barely talked about it. To almost everyone, Bitcoin looked completely worthless. And honestly, they had good reasons to think that. After all, it wasn't backed by any government. It wasn't printed like cash. You couldn't even hold it in your hand. It existed only on computers. So why would anyone trust it? But while millions of people ignored Bitcoin, a small group of curious people decided to take a chance. Now imagine you're one of them. You spend only $100, not because you're trying to become rich overnight, not because you know the future, simply because you're curious enough to try something new. After buying it, nothing changes. You wake up the next morning, go to work, go to school, live your life exactly the same. Days turn into weeks, weeks turn into months. Bitcoin moves up a little, then falls again. Nothing exciting. Most people would forget they even owned it. But then, something unexpected starts happening. More people begin talking about Bitcoin. Tech enthusiasts become interested. Developers improve the technology. Small online communities begin growing. Then, the media notices it. For the first time, Bitcoin starts making headlines. The price rises. People become excited. Then, suddenly, it crashes. News websites declare Bitcoin is dead. People panic. Thousands of investors sell everything. Imagine checking your wallet and seeing your investment lose a huge part of its value in a very short time. Would you still believe, or would fear convince you to sell? This is where most people fail. Everyone dreams about buying early. Almost nobody imagines surviving the crashes. Bitcoin's journey wasn't a straight line to success. It was filled with moments of excitement, followed by moments of fear. Every time the price dropped, people said it was over. Every time it recovered, more people wished they had never sold. Some early investors sold after making a small profit. Some lost access to their wallets forever. Some forgot their passwords. Ironically, many people who had the chance to become incredibly wealthy never actually did. Not because they bought too late, but because they couldn't stay patient. As the years passed, Bitcoin slowly transformed from an internet experiment into one of the most talked about financial assets in history. Large companies started paying attention. Institutional investors entered the market. Governments began discussing regulations. The same idea that people once laughed at was now being discussed in boardrooms around the world. But here's something most people don't realize. The biggest lesson isn't that Bitcoin made some people rich. The biggest lesson is how difficult it is to stay calm when emotions take control. When prices rise, people become greedy. When prices fall, people become scared. And those emotions often lead to poor decisions. History shows that long-term investing requires patience, research, and accepting uncertainty. It doesn't guarantee success, and it certainly doesn't mean every new technology will become the next Bitcoin. Many projects fail. Some disappear completely. That's why smart investing is about understanding risk, not chasing hype. So, what if you had bought Bitcoin in 2010? Maybe your financial life would look completely different today. Or maybe you would have sold during one of the many crashes long before it reached its biggest milestones. We'll never know. But history teaches us one powerful lesson. The world's biggest opportunities usually don't look obvious when they first appear. They're often ignored, mocked, or misunderstood. The real question isn't, should I have bought Bitcoin? The real question is, what opportunity am I ignoring today simply because it looks too strange? Because history has a habit of rewarding those who stay curious, think independently, and remain patient while everyone else is looking the other way. If you enjoyed this video and want more stories about money, investing, and the biggest financial decisions in history, subscribe now, because the next opportunity might already exist and most people still can't see it.